Okay, yeah, I think now I've set it.
Yeah, it's showing it's streaming live on YouTube.
Okay, so we can begin. So we can start with Namokar Mantra.
Okay, Fiona, go ahead.
YouTube.
Go ahead.
This thing is on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Shh, calm down. Okay, ready? Okay, you say it. Namo Rintan.
Namo Arahantaram. Namo Siddharam. Namo
Yadyaram.
Namo Vajayanam. Namo Loy Savasahunam.
Iso Panchanamo Yaro.
Sarva Bhava Panasanam. Mangalancha Sarvasim.
Padmam Hoi Mangalam. Okay, you want to say Chattari Mangalam? Okay.
With Fiam.
Okay, say it together.
Okay.
Ready?
Chattari Mangalam. Arhanta Mangalam. Sita Mangalam. Sahu Mangalam. Kevalipanato.
Mangalam. First is Mangalam. Chattari Guttama. Arhanta Guttama. Sita Guttama. Sahulo Guttama. Kevalipanato. Tamolo Guttamo. Chattari Sharanam Pavajami. Arhante Sharanam Pavajami. Site Sharanam Pavajami. Sahu Sharanam Pavajami. Kevalipanatam. Dhammam Sharanam Pavajami.
Okay, good. Even I learned something new. Okay, so fine, let's begin. So, okay, so let's go back to Balbot Patmala 1. And have you got any questions from this book before we start with the new book?
Hold on, let me share my screen.
So, Mom can literally watch this right now.
I'm sharing my screen now. So Fiona, the question that she has is: Are there any open questions from this book, from the first Patmala? If you remember, we started with the Namokar mantra, then the Mangalam, then we all learned about Tirthankar Bhagwan, Dev Darshan, then talked about living and non-living, the timetable. We learned the story of Bhagwan Adinath, and finally my home. Any questions, Briella or Fiona, do you have from this book?
No questions.
Okay, I will ask you. I will ask you a few questions.
Okay.
What does Nisihi mean? Anybody can answer.
It purifies your mind from all the daily affairs.
No, don't read. Just try to remember.
I'm not even reading. I'm literally saying it.
No, it's on the screen.
No,
Anyway, go ahead.
It's not on there, not yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh. So, Nisihi, clears your mind from all the worldly affairs.
Yeah, very good, very good. So basically, you say it to like remove any thoughts you might have. Okay, and in the daily timetable, what do you have to do when you wake up in the morning?
Chant Namokar mantra.
Yeah, Briella?
Say it loudly.
Chant Namokar mantra.
Good, very good. And have you printed my home and the sheet, and have you placed it in your room somewhere?
Not yet, because their room needs to be cleaned first, so they need to clean their room.
Okay. Okay, so please remember to do this so that you can do this in your daily timetable. Okay, so Tirthankar Bhagwan. Briella, how many Tirthankars are there?
24.
Well done. Who is the first Tirthankar, Briella?
Adinath.
Good girl. And who is the 24th Tirthankar?
24th.
Yes.
Mahavir.
Yeah. Now the next question is for Fiona. Can there be a 25th Tirthankar?
No.
Can you remember a story about it? about the 25th Tirthankar.
Yeah, there was they called it a 25th Tirthankar, and then everyone gathered to like see him. But then, what's his name again?
Who?
Someone knew that there can't be 25 or 23. There has to be 24. It's nature's law.
Very good. So the lady who said it is called Revti Rani, Queen Revti.
Queen Revti.
Queen Revti.
Queen Revti said that. Vishal, describe the method of Dev Darshan.
So the method of Dev Darshan is, you go, before you go to the temple, you take off your chappals or sandals or shoes. You go inside, you say Nisi, Nisi, Nisi 3 times before you enter. And then you stand before the altar and you chant Namokar mantra. And then you do the pradakshina, I think is the right word. And then you also focus on hearing religious discourses and lessons and any kind of prayers that are going on, and really focus on your soul to purify yourself.
Like think about your soul, because you can only focus on your soul if you can first think about it, that how it is, what is in it, etc.
Right.
Okay, fine. So what is this last one? Preachings of Bhagwan Mahavir. What is this last? Yeah, that one. Okay, so let's just read this and then we move on to the next book. Fiona, why don't you read this?
Preachings of Bhagwan Mahavir. Every soul is independent. None depends on another. All souls are alike. None is superior or inferior.
Well done. Wait. Every soul is independent. Why is it independent?
Why is it independent?
Because it's a soul.
Because it's a soul.
Yeah, because it's a soul. Yeah, because it's a soul. So why is a soul independent? Maybe Vishal can answer.
Because one soul has no impact on any other soul, and it's infinite and independent because it's been around forever, but it doesn't have any impact on other soul or any other matter or any other dravya.
Good. Okay. And another reason, okay, like not that it is stated over here, every soul is complete.
Complete. Okay.
Why is it? Anybody can answer. Maybe Briella can try.
Every soul is complete. Why is that?
Because it doesn't, in each body, it doesn't leave a little bit of its soul at that body and a little bit of its part there and a little bit by that body.
So it's complete because of
knowledge.
It's because it has got infinite attributes. It does not give any attributes to anybody. It does not take any soul's attribute in himself. So what gun is that? Maybe Fiona can try. We have learned it in the other book.
Remember the different guns?
Yeah. The stuff like that.
Huh? What gun was it? Do you remember?
Akash?
No. That's a dravya. That's not the gun. Because remember there was one that was astitva gun.
Yeah.
Vastutva gun. And I don't remember the other ones off the top of my head.
So it is called a guru lagutva gun.
Guru lagutva. Okay, let me write that down.
There were 3 points in that. So good. Every soul in itself is absolutely omniscient and blissful. The bliss does not come from outside. Maybe I know that Fiona knows this answer.
The bliss will not come from outside. So
Because why?
Because there is bliss and happiness already contained in your soul.
Which is called what? There's a specific name for it, which you have learned.
Infinite happiness?
Yeah, infinite happiness, but infinite happiness, so it has a gun, it has an attribute called happiness.
Suk.
Yeah, so the words I was looking for, that it has an attribute or it has a gun called sukh, which this attribute is not there in matter particles. Is it there in matter particles?
No.
No.
No, good. Okay. Now, okay, so the fourth one. Not only soul, but every object of the universe also is subject to change by itself without any external interference. I think Vishal can answer this. What is making it change?
The Pariyai, right? You're talking about Pariyai?
Good. Yeah. So it is a pari, and which gun in particular is making it change?
I'm trying to think then the actual name. It's not Astitva, it's not Vastutva, it's not Aguru Lagutva. I don't know the exact term, actually. I'm sorry.
Okay, so fine. We will read it again so that you remember. All human beings are miserable due to their own faults, and they can themselves be happy by rectifying the same. Briella, is that making sense?
Yeah.
All human beings
Okay.
are.
Because there are a couple of like difficult words. Fiona, is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, explain.
Everyone is guilty and miserable because of all their bad deeds.
No, not because of bad deeds, but because of wrong belief. What is our one major fault? Our major fault is to believe or to identify ourselves as someone who we are not. Imagine if Briella went to her class and kept on saying, "No, I'm Fiona. I'm Fiona." Everybody would first laugh because they know that no, this girl is called Briella. So then after a few minutes, she will realize, oh yeah, I am Briella. So can you imagine for infinite time, I am saying I'm a body, I'm a body, I'm a body. So we are miserable because we have identified ourselves to be something that we are not. Mithyatva. What is it called? Wrong belief?
Mithyatva.
Okay. So we can rectify this by understanding that I am a soul, but I'm not thoughts, I am not speech, and also I am not the body. Okay, so the next one, Fiona can read.
Here. The greatest mistake.
The greatest mistake of a soul is non-recognition of its real self, and can only be rectified by recognizing itself.
So how will you recognize yourself? How will you know that you're a soul and not a body?
How you know when you
Explain however, whatever you understand, Fiona.
you like
How can you recognize that you're a soul?
by listening to all those things, reading all those books, and
Yeah, so that is a correct answer by Briella, by reading books. So that's correct. Now, what is written in these books? Like it could be Samaisar
and Jain stuff.
and Jain stuff. Yeah,
Niyam Sar, Pravachan Sar.
girl. So you do remember all the names. So what is written in these books? Maybe Vishal can answer.
That you are a soul and you have infinite happiness, you have infinite knowledge, and you have the capacity to attain moksha as a soul.
Good. So yeah, that is partly correct. So in these books, what it is written is that what I am, which is what you have said, and what I am not.
You're not, okay.
I am not a jeev, meaning to say I am not pudgal.
Are you Pudgal?
And
No.
also you're not. So it is going to the extent in Samaisar and saying you're also not moksha. Because moksha, you can just remember this for now, moksha is ek samay ni pariyai, meaning it is only only a modification for the smallest unit of time. So the soul is separate. I mean the dravya and parya is the one which is changing. Where is moksha happening? Is moksha happening in like the dravya or in the parya?
In the Paryay.
It is happening in the parya because one day there was ashrav in the parya. Like now, we have ashrav, we have got punya, pap. So at the moment, we all are accumulating punya because we're listening about the soul. And maybe when we stop this class, when we start to eat or to drink, we're accumulating pap. So all that is called ashrav. Ashrav is happening even in our sleep, when we're awake, when we're working, when we're talking. So it is happening. And then what happens that one day this ashrav converts to somewhere when one experiences the soul. And then after somewhere there's nirjara, and then there's moksha. So now all these 7 tattva will now come in the books that we will do. So then we can go into depth. There is no separate existence of God. Every body can attain godhood by making supreme efforts in the right direction. So I think it is here, don't take it literally meaning body, but I think it is trying to say everyone.
Everyone, okay.
Everyone
not Pudgal. You're not talking about Pudgal.
Yeah, it's not talking here. Everyone can attain godhood by making supreme, look, it is written supreme efforts, which is Purushartha. Purushartha is what? Purushartha is to understand what the soul is like. Purushartha is not to do something, because then it will make you a doer. What is Purushartha? To understand what the soul is like. But imagine if somebody told us Purushartha is to do something, then that is not the correct understanding. Purushartha means that to understand, like how we say in Gujarati, samjar. The correct samjar, actually what is supreme efforts.
Because Purusha normally also means effort, right? In the literal translation is effort.
Yeah. Look, it is written efforts.
Oh yeah, supreme effort. Okay.
Yeah, supreme efforts in the right direction.
But it's not about supreme effort in terms of doing. It's supreme effort in terms of understanding
what the soul is like. Because otherwise, I will become a doer, who I am not.
Are you a doer or a knower?
You're a knower, not a doer.
Briella, how about you?
Or a doer? Knower.
Okay. Know thyself. Recognize thyself. See, it is written, know thyself. Know thyself. It is not written, do thyself.
Yeah.
So basically, it is to understand who I am. So these classes, so you have to remember this, Fiona, that these classes is not to preach something by someone. These classes are actually to understand the universal laws, meaning nobody has invented these laws. Nobody has made up a philosophy called Jainism. Jain philosophy, what is it? It is basically what the universe is like, what the universal laws are. For example, the universal law is saying that Pudgal can, 2 Pudgals become Skand. That is just a universal law. Then another universal law is saying that the soul and the body cannot be together. So you have to understand that this is a science you're learning, and you have to understand, you do not have to cram anything. You might cram it and you might be able to speak in front of an audience very well about the soul, but you might never understand or recognize what the soul is. Fiona, is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Know thyself, recognize thyself, and be immersed in thyself. Know thyself, recognize, and be immersed. So know, recognize, and immerse. Immerse is when charitra happens. So immerse is linta. When charitra happens, meaning to say this happens to Muniraj, who is able to stay within the soul for a longer period of time. But for Grahast, example can be Bharat Chakravarti, it can be Bahubali, it can be Mahavir as a prince, It can be Rishabdev Bhagwan as a prince. They can't stay in the soul for a very long time. Maybe like few seconds, few minutes, and then they're out of it. But it is the Muni Raj who can be immersed in it, and that there's a ladder of 14 steps. From the 7th step, one can be immersed in thyself. So from what step?
Step.
The 7th.
7th step. Like what happens?
What happened on the 7th step?
At the 7th.
Immerse in the soul.
You're immersed in the soul.
Yeah, one can immerse in the soul. Briella, can it happen in the 4th step?
No.
No. And for how many seconds can it happen, Fiona, in the 4th step?
A
few seconds. Okay, good. God is neither the creator or the destructor of this universe. He is a silent observer and omniscient.
See?
Meaning, when you say observer, they are actually trying to say that he's actually he's a doer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
No, he's not a doer.
No, he's not.
Then what is he? When they say he's a silent observer.
He's a knower.
Good. And what is omniscient?
Omniscient is what?
Thoughts.
He knows everything about the past, the present, the future of everything, right? Not all knowing.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. All knowing. So he knows of the 6 dravya, of their past, present, and future. So can you imagine infinite times infinite times infinite times infinite? I mean, he knows. I mean, there are like infinite Jeev, infinite times infinite Pudgal, Dharmastikai, Adharmastikai, Akash, and Kal. Can you imagine what are we made out of? Can you imagine the Shakti, the power that the soul, meaning you, have? You are so powerful. You can rightfully say that you are the most powerful person in this universe. You have the right to say that because you actually are so powerful. Imagine that you're an omniscient. You are an omniscient.
But it's also important to know that just because you know everything doesn't mean you take action on it. That's the important difference. Because you're just a knower, not a doer.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, one who even after knowing the whole universe can remain unaffected and unattached. So exactly what Vishal said. One who even after knowing the whole universe can remain unaffected and unattached is God. So let's go back to the previous one. God is neither the creator or the destructor of this universe. If he creates, is he doing or is he knowing?
If he creates, then is he doing or knowing?
He's doing if he creates.
Yeah, good. And if he spoils something, Briella, is he doing or is he knowing?
Doing.
He's doing. So can God be a spoiler? No. Okay, so yeah, so we just made the word a little bit easy for you to understand. So he is neither the creator nor the destructor of the universe. Okay, and we learned in Bhagwan Adinath one thing. So let's see if like Briella remembers. What, and it's okay, don't scroll down. What happens in the Samavasar, and try to remember the example of Tom and Jerry.
When a mouse and cat comes there and they sit next to each other, the cat doesn't chase the mouse and the mouse doesn't run away.
Yeah, good. So basically there is no fighting in the Samavasaran. So yeah, so it could be, I mean, this is just an example of a cat and a mouse, but there can be several examples. It can be of a lion and a human being. Imagine if we saw a lion, we would run away. But in the Samavasaran, nobody wants to kill each other. Everybody wants to live in harmony and in peace. Or it can be an example of a snake and a human. If we saw a snake, would we stand there?
Would you stand there if you saw a snake normally?
Really flits, boing.
Yeah. So So that's what we learned from Bhagwan Adinath. What's the other thing that we learned? We learned that he's the first Tirthankar, and he has how many sons and daughters?
How many sons and daughters?
A lot. That's a lot. Thousand.
No, not 6,000.
1,002,000.
100.
100.
But yeah,
And how many daughters?
Two.
2. Well done. And what else did we learn from Bhagwan Adinath? What famous stotra is written in praise of Adinath Bhagwan?
Bhaktamar.
Say it loudly.
Bhaktamar.
Bhaktamar.
Bhaktamar. See, bhakta, say bhakta.
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 Bhaktamar.
Bhaktamar.
Mar.
Bhaktamar stotra. Fine, let's move to the new book. Okay, let's read in English. Can you read Hindi? Vishal, you can read it.
Vitrag Sarvagna Hitankar. Bhavijan ki Shrab Puro Ras. Gnan Bhanu ka Uday Karo. Mam Mithyatma ka Hoy Vinash.
Okay, so read in English.
O God, devoid of all attachments, all-knowing, and preacher of the right faith, fulfill our hopes. Let the sun of knowledge shine upon us to destroy wrong belief.
Okay, so translate wrong belief is what?
Mithyatva.
Okay, and fine. Okay, so now read the next in Hindi.
जीवों की हम करुणा पाले, भूत वचन नहीं कहें कदा. झूठ वचन नहीं कहे कदा. परधन कबहू न हरहू स्वामी, ब्रह्मचर्य व्रत रखें सदा. Let us be kind towards all living creatures. Let us not tell lies. Let us not deprive others of their belongings. Let us be celibate.
So what is a translation of celibate?
Brahmacharya.
Okay, so remember, brahmacharya does not mean brahmacharya. So there are two ways of looking at it. One is the vyavahar, where we see the man and women wearing white clothes and not getting married, or maybe not like living with their family and like living in a place and always maybe studying what we see like in Songad. But then there's a real brahmachari, meaning the nischay, meaning Brahma. Acharan is brahmachari. Brahma means the soul. To be within the soul is called Brahma. Acharan. Acharan means to reside. Brahma Acharan. So to reside in the soul forever is brahmachari. So Fiona, try to remember, what did I say? That there are two kinds of brahmachari.
There's one where there's two people, a man and a girl.
Woman.
Just sit somewhere, study without their family.
Yes.
Oh, you see, wait, you missed on a key point, that you see the brahmachari that we see, they don't get married, and they are living in solitude. So they don't get married, and they're wearing generally this is like this, that they're wearing white clothes, and they are living separately, maybe to do more of soul study. So that's the vyavahar one. Now, what is the nischay one?
You live within the soul.
Good. Okay. So what does Brahma mean, Vishal?
The soul, and Acharan is living within.
Okay, good. Okay, so now next paragraph.
I think it is Trushana? No.
Trishna, yeah, Trishna,
तृष्णा
Lobh.
लोभ बड़े न हमारा, तोष सुधा नित्य पिया करें, श्री जिन धर्म हमारा प्यारा, तिसकी सेवा किया करे.
Good.
Let us not be greedy. Let us drink the nectar of satisfaction. Our Jain religion is dear to us. Let us all be serving it.
Hmm. We serve Jain religion. Vishal,
Sorry, what was that? The voice broke up.
how do we serve Jain religion?
With by recognizing that you are a soul.
Good. So that is the correct answer. That is actually the real serving. This serving where the Muniraj is maybe preaching correct knowledge, he is serving. But that's not the real serving, because he knows that is Prabhupada. And so even Muniraj, after he has maybe written a few books or something, he goes within. Not a few books, rather, he's always going within.
Yeah.
Even while he's writing, he's always going within. So that is a real serving. Okay, so now next paragraph.
दूर भगावे बुरी रीतियां, सुखद रीति का करे प्रचार, मेल मिलाप बढ़ावे हम सब, धर्मो स्तुति धर्मो नीति का करे प्रसार.
Yeah.
Let us throw away bad social practices and spread happy ones. Let us live happily with others and propagate the gospel of non-violence.
Okay, so what does non-violence mean, Briella?
What does non-violence mean?
No hitting, no slapping, no pulling.
Don't be mean, yeah.
And
don't be mean, don't eat meat. Like you are an exceptionally worth praising family, that you live in Switzerland and you still you do not eat any underground vegetables, so you are a very non-violent family, so you should clap for yourself. Okay, so now that is the conventional meaning, to say that is a vyavahar, that we don't kill animals, we live happily with each other, we don't fight, we share our good thoughts with everybody. But what is a real non-violence? Fiona, this is very easy.
What is a real non-violence?
No killing.
But that's vyavahar.
Think about it.
Real violence.
No.
Real pop.
No. What do you think?
Real violence.
No. What is, right belief, I guess, and not having any bad thoughts even?
No, thoughts even comes in the vyavahar. The real non-violent way of living is to be immersed in the soul.
Yeah, immersed in the soul.
Actually, Jain Dharma is very easy. For anything and everything, it is only giving us one message. Recognize that you are a soul and immerse in the soul. So know that you're a soul, recognize that you're a soul, and then immerse in it. So can you imagine if one is engrossed in their work, like Fiona, maybe if you're at school and maybe if you're very busy writing something, and there are 2-3 people fighting outside. Now you're not even looking at them because you're so immersed in like doing your own work that you have got no attention on them. So you have saved yourself from that violent activity, isn't it?
I think that happens often when she's reading a book. Like when she's reading her book on her Kindle, she's immersed in it, and we could be calling her, or she doesn't pay attention because she's so immersed. I think that's probably a good example, right, Fiona?
Yeah.
That's a real example.
Yes.
Yes. So you are so immersed in it that anything wrong that might be happening, like just maybe outside of your house, maybe something is happening. Maybe there was anything. It could be anything, like a car crash or something. People are shouting and screaming, but you're so immersed in your reading that you do not even look outside of your window. So this is what it's saying.
So that's the same analogy to kind of say, that's what Jainism is all about. When we talk about non-violence, is immerse know your soul, and immerse in it.
So that is actually the non-violent way of living, because you're so immersed in being happy that you are not looking outside. Like, remember what we just talked about right now, that an omniscient is someone who is not attached, who has got no aversion, and somebody who is a vitrag, Bhagwan, who has got no rag or no dvesh or no mithyatva. Okay, so let's read the next.
Sukh dukh mein hum samta dhare rahe. This word, this alphabet always confuses me.
Yeah, actually, it's I'm getting a bit confused. How is it written? Is it
Richal, Manjal, Jimi Sada Rutal, Atal, maybe. Achal.
Achal,
Rahe
yeah.
Achal, Jimi Sada Atal, न्याय मार्ग को लेश न त्यागे, वृद्धि करे निज आत्मबल.
Yeah, okay.
Let us remain unruffled in joys and sorrows and remain stubborn as mountains. Let us not leave the path of justice. Let us increase our soul force.
Okay, I think stubborn is not the
Yeah, it was a
appropriate
strange
word.
word. I didn't quite understand why they would
Atal means steadfast.
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 Like clear, like not wavering from the direction. Not stubborn sounds like inflexible almost, but that's not
And
what it
more of
means.
a negative word.
Negative word, yeah. Steadfast, so like steady, like don't deviate from the path.
Yeah, like when you're focusing on going over boundaries.
Yeah.
Focusing.
Okay. So let us not leave the path of justice. Let us increase our soul force. So what is this trying to say, Fiona?
There?
Let us not leave the path of justice. Let us increase our soul force.
Well, do not leave. You don't like topple over and start like killing, eating meat, being all violent and stuff. That's to not leave the path of justice. And to increase your soul force, you need to immerse in your soul.
Yes. Okay. So fine. The next you can read in Hindi.
This word.
Ashtakaram.
अष्टकर्म जो दुख हेतु हैं, तिनके क्षय का करे उपाय, नाम आपका जपे निरंतर, विघ्न शोक सब ही टल जाए.
Okay, now Fiona, read the English.
English one right here. Fiona, read this.
Let us try to destroy all the 8 karmas that lead to unhappiness in the world. Let us remember thee, my Lord, to avoid all difficulties and distresses.
Okay, so is it making sense?
Yeah.
What is it saying?
Fiona, explain.
Well, we gotta try to destroy all the 8 karmas that bring us to unhappiness, and just remember.
Yeah, I think this is interesting because it's saying, let us remember thee, my Lord. I mean, it's really not, we are God, so why are we thinking of somebody else?
Oh, the my Lord, meaning it can even be me, because who be Bhagwan chu.
Okay.
So, the naam
aapka jape nirantar.
Yeah. So aapka can even be mine, like,
Right.
my soul, and even it can be in the external, it can be Tirthankar Bhagwan.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Vigna shok sab hi tal jai. Vigna shok, meaning to say that all these difficulties and distresses are there because of one word. What is that one word? Anybody can answer. Anybody who remembers?
What?
Why are there difficulties?
Okay, fine. Let me give you a clue. In English, it is 2 words, and in Gujarati, it's 1 word.
Okay, say
8 karmas. Just because 8
Okay, fine. 8 karmas are due to
killing,
due to
happiness,
no.
killing. They're due to recognizing yourself as the body, right?
Let's ask. I don't.
okay. So it is due to wrong belief, or in
Wrong
Gujarati it is due to mithyatva.
Mithyatva. Mithyatva is a wrong belief.
Yeah. It is so Fiona is right when she said that the soul and the body, that they are both separate.
Separate, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you are right, but we were looking for one word, which is mithyatva, or in English, 2 words, wrong belief.
Wrong belief.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
आत्मा शुद्ध हमारा होवे पाप मैल नहीं चढ़े करा विद्या करा कदा विद्या की हो उन्नति हम में धर्म ज्ञान हूँ बड़े सदा.
Fiona,
read this English one.
Or maybe Briella can read.
Briella, you can read. You can try.
Let our schools be pure of
all the
of
imperfection
of this circle of living
lives
and
deaths. The next sentence.
Let us
Fiona, look here.
Fiona, you can read. Okay, go ahead.
Let us develop right knowledge and increase our religious awareness.
Okay, let our souls be pure of all imperfections of this circle of lives and deaths. Let us develop right knowledge and increase religious awareness. Okay, next.
हाथ जोड़कर शीश नवावे तुमको भविजन खड़े खड़े यह सब पूरो आस हमारी चरण शरण में आन पड़े. Fiona, read the first sentence.
Standing on our feet, we worship thee,
O Lord,
and pray so that our hopes be fulfilled and we attain our own selves.
Okay, good. Okay, so now you have a bit of homework. Try and do it before the next class and don't see it when we meet on next Wednesday, because you should remember this prayer. It is a very good prayer. And Briella, maybe I ask you to recite this prayer one day in one of the programs.
Oh, this prayer, like in Hindi, you have to remember it.
Yeah.
Right? Or in English, in Hindi.
No, in Hindi. In
Hindi.
In Hindi.
Let's go.
You can do it?
That's gonna be hard for you.
No, she can do it. We believe that. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so
in one of the programs, she will ask to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you start to practice this because you already know Namokar mantra and the other one, Chattari Mangalam. So now this is a new prayer that you have to start to memorize. Okay, so now let's.
It's a different one. It's a different one. It's right here. Vitrag Sarvan. So this is this is the one we're going to learn. Okay.
Okay, fine. Let's go to the new book. To the other book. We can do Prashnotter Mara, the other book.
Okay, this one?
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Which we were at.
We had a question for you. Scroll up. We had a question for Vishal. Scroll a little bit higher. Okay. Read question 11.
Define changeability attribute dravyatva, that potentiality or quality by virtue of which the modification of a substance changes every moment continuously and uninterruptedly is called changeability attribute.
So now, do you know which attribute we were talking at that time?
About
Pariyai.
Asha. Or okay.
What are you
Pariyai.
asking? Yeah. Okay.
I see. Okay. Dravyatva. Dravyatva is right.
Yeah, Dravyatva gun. Okay, so now let's scroll down. Okay, next week I will give you a test on just this book because this is the harder book. Is it okay to do a test next week? I think your school has just opened, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think you might not be very busy this week.
So this is a test. So we're gonna study all of these, okay?
Mhm.
You have to study till question 25. Okay, let's scroll down. Parmanu, we did. Molecule, we did 24. Okay, so we were in 24. Okay. So let's go back to 24. No, 23. Let's go back to 23. Okay. How many types of molecules, Skand, are there? The molecules are of 23 types, such as Ahar, body making, Vargana, Tejas, Vargana, Bhasha Vargana, Mano Vargana, Karmic Vargana. So there are for 23 kinds, and they have stated the main ones. Define body making Vargana, which is Ahar Vargana. Those matter particles which transform themselves into 3 types of bodies are called Odarik, Vaikriyak, and Aharak. Odarik, gross body. So we have a gross body because if you look at Aharak, look what is written, that it, in like simpler words, it breaks and it comes back again. So an example of this can be maybe somebody who lives in hell.
Oh, wow.
Somebody who lives in hell, because unfortunately what happens in hell, say for example, like a soul, maybe from from human, he goes to a hellish body. So what happens, he's dropped from the top, and he's dropped in such a way that his body sometimes can break into pieces, and then all of a sudden he joins back again. And then this happens for thousands of years, that somebody kills him, he thinks that, oh, this is the end. No, and within a few seconds, the body comes back. Again, somebody kills him. Again, he comes back. Again, somebody stabs him from the back. Somebody throws him. Somebody puts him like in a river of thorns. So this is what happens in the hell, that the hellish being is miserable because the body is not like us. Imagine if somebody stabs us with a knife, the body will die, meaning the soul and the body will both like separate. But unfortunately, in the in hell, the body comes back together, and this is quite painful. It is actually quite painful. Imagine somebody stabs you 1,000,000 times in one day. So this is actually what happens in hell. So do we want to go to hell?
Do you want to go to hell?
No.
No, we don't want to go to hell. Now let's go to Vaikriyak, fluid body. So what happens over here is of the heavenly beings. Now we think that in heaven there's happiness. So there are different, there are 16 heavens. On top of that, there are another 9. And on top of it, there are another 5. So there are Sola Swarg, which means 16 Swarg. After that, there are 9 Gravek. And after that, there are Panch Anuttar, another 5 levels. So what happens is that the higher, maybe like a heavenly being who is maybe in a higher swarg, he can tell another heavenly being of a lower swarg that, oh, become an elephant. I want to go from place A to place B. or he might tell him that, oh, become this or become that. And unfortunately, this heavenly being who is in a lower status as compared to the higher status one, he has to follow instructions. So the body is Vaikriyuk from maybe a human, like because heavenly bodies look like human bodies. So
So their bodies are Vaikric bodies.
their bodies are Vaikriyuk bodies. It's a fluid body. And so, is there any happiness in heaven?
Is there happiness in heaven?
No.
Why?
Because he was that.
No, that's in hell.
No, that's in. But in heaven, the higher ones can tell the lower ones to turn maybe into a fish.
Yeah, exactly. Turn into a fish, turn into an elephant, turn into this, turn into that. And then they sit on their bodies and then they move from one place to another. So there's no happiness in heaven. Another like what do you say? Another thing that we observe in heaven is that there's a lot of jealousy. That there's somebody of a higher status, or maybe like a dev who's in a higher like ranking, or maybe in a higher level of swarg. He has more of everything, maybe more devis like serving him, maybe more fame, maybe people listen to him as compared to the ones which are in the lower status where people don't listen to them. So there's a lot of jealousy. So is there happiness in heaven?
No.
There's no happiness in heaven. So where is happiness?
Where is happiness?
It's in the soul.
It's in the what?
It's in the soul.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Odaric Sharir is what we have. Odaric Sharir is something that is a gross body. Now, let's take an example of various chief. Like, say, for example, us. If we fall off a cliff, will we break our bones?
If you fall off a cliff, what will happen?
You'll
Break bones or no?
die.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can die, but here we're just trying to understand that, yeah, we can break our bones. And for example, like there was Ramchandraji, there was Hanuman, where they were like literally Hanuman was thrown off a cliff as a baby. He was born and within few days only, or maybe few weeks, he was thrown off a cliff by mistake. And his body did not break. So that doesn't mean that he's got a Vaikriyak or an Aharak Sharir. It just means that he was born like that with a stronger body, as compared to us who are not born with such a strong body.
But it's still Audaric.
Yeah, it is still Odaric, yeah. Yeah. So is that making sense?
Does it make sense of the different kinds of bodies?
Yeah.
What body are you?
We're gross body.
Audaric.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that is quite easy to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it's written in bracket, the mass of molecules is termed Vargana. So more than a few Putgal particles is called Vargana. Now question 25. Tejas Vargana. Tejas, can you, okay, look at me over here, like look at my screen. What happened? And now what happened?
It turned darker and then
Yeah, it turned dark. So that is what Tejas Vargana does. We have this shine over the body, which is making us glow. Or like how Vishal had said, like, it gives us an aura. Or maybe it basically is like a light. Look, let's read. Those matter particles which transform themselves into tejas, luminous or electric body. So it is luminous, meaning it is bright. Look again here. What happened? And now what happened? So this is what happens when somebody dies. Have you noticed that? Maybe you have not seen a real death, but maybe Vishal has seen one. That the body fades.
Yeah.
So this
And
is
even
not.
in the movies, they represent it that way. If you remember, when they show it, it's like pale, almost like pale body, and yeah.
Yeah, that is true. And the reason is that this Tejas Vargana disappears as you know, with death. So it's not something. It is actually a scientific reason. It is not to say that, you know, this like how people can have their own beliefs. Why now the body has darkened? But it has actually got a scientific belief that this Tejas Sharir, it goes away. It like also goes away. Like how the karmic body also goes away, it goes with the soul. So if I'm human now, and for example, that again, if I become human, I leave this body, and again, if I become human, when I get a new body, that karmic body will come with me, and it will leave this body.
Even in the next body, it comes. Okay. Huh.
Yeah, I mean that's the reason, right? Like let's take an example. Let's make it a little interesting, and we can stop at question 25. We can we can take a short story. Okay, once upon a time there were three jeev. There were three souls. One was a man, the second was a father, the third was a daughter, and the fourth was a prince. Let me say that again. One was a man, the second was a father, the third was the daughter of this man, and the fourth was a prince. Now, this daughter the father, he was a priest, he was a purohit. Now, these four jeev that I have just said, the man was of the he was Ramchandraji in his last birth. The second, the lady, was Sita in her last birth. The Purohit, meaning the father, like Sita's father, was Lakshman. And the fourth, who was the prince, was Ravan. So what had happened in their previous birth, this like Purohit, the daughter was Sita, who is going to be Sita in the next birth. So this prince Ravan, he really liked Sita, and he wanted to marry her. But Sita did not like him. And Sita wanted to marry the other man, who was Ram. And there was a war, unfortunately, like a battle, not a war. And Ravan, that prince killed the priest. And then Sita got really angry at him. And obviously, she did not get to marry Ram as well. And she did not also want to marry Ravan, who was the prince. And so she cursed him that in your next life, I will be the reason for your death. And then what happens, unfortunately, also she dies. Then this man who was the man who was Ram, he does a lot of penance, and then he takes Muni Diksha just in that life, and he becomes a Muni Raj. Now these four jeev, again they meet. Now they meet as Ram, Sita, Lakshman, and Ravan. And like what happens is, because Sita had promised him, right, that in the next life I will be the reason for your death. And so we all know what happened, like in Ramayana, that Sita was kidnapped by Ravan, and he wanted to marry her again. He wanted to marry her because his wish was not fulfilled. He wanted to marry her, but again Sita did not want to marry him. And then what happens eventually, that Lakshman, who was that priest, he kills Ravan in the end, like in the war. He kills him in the end because, you see, he was killed by Ravan. So he had that revenge within him. And then both Ravan and Lakshman both go to hell. And because Ram had done sadhana in his previous birth as a Muni Raj, again he becomes a Muni later on in life. And then eventually he attains moksha just in that life. So this is the karmic body comes with us. This is the example I was trying to say. That these four jeev had built karma with them. that Sita had promised herself that I will be the cause for your death. And then how things happened, unfortunately, that Sita got kidnapped. And then Ravan took her to the palace. He is insisting to her that you have to marry me. I want you to marry me. I will be very kind to you. I will give you everything. But still, Sita does not budge. And Sita does not marry him because she had revenge of the previous birth. So this is what is karmic body. Is that making sense, Fiona?
Yeah.
From the previous birth.
Ella, is that making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so fine. We did a little story. Try to remember the story, and you can tell your mom what you learned today. You can explain the story of Ram, Lakshman, Sita, and Ravan. Okay.
Had to be the same people, or we can make.
Yeah, the same people. It's the same people.
But can we do like
Same story. So the homework is story of the 4G, right?
Yeah, and the 25 questions will have a test. You can go. Please scroll down. I think you can go up to pages. I think we can go up to 34 because we have sort of explained them. I don't think you'll find it difficult. Yeah, so up to 34, we can do it. And I'm sure you'll manage because you already know the answers.
Perfect.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So okay,
excellent.
Good. Thanks as
Have
well.
a good
And
week. Thank you so much. And we'll talk again soon. Thank you.
and one question. I'm not able to find the option for more to stop the YouTube.
Maybe I'll have to make you the host again.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, it's here on the screen. Okay. Jai Jinendra. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.